preparing, setting it up. You're live.
Okay, I see it now. Okay. Good morning, everyone. It is 6:59. We will be starting our topic soon. And just to give a quick introduction, today is day 7 of our 7-day course of connecting with your guides through meditation. There's no particular order of this course. If you have just joined us, you could always watch all the other days to get information and knowledge from each day. They all share something differently, and they all give something that I have found and experienced with other guests that they needed that message for that day. It's been a very interesting course the last 7 days. So today is our day 7. And we also have another course, if you missed it, back in October, a 7-day chakra cleanse. You could also watch that through our Facebook page and our units tab. And it's a 7-day chakra cleanse course. And also where we have guest speakers kind of present their experiences, tips, ideas, guidance when it comes to that. I highly suggest you watch that course also. So it is 7 a.m. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Again, I'm just going to do just a quick summary of what we've talked about from day 1 through day 6. So for day 1, it was about setting the mood and crafting a clear intention. And setting the mood, what I mean by that is, where is your sacred space? A lot of people will build like little shrines in their homes or a little space where they could meditate. I personally do a sacred space within me, because if I'm traveling, if I'm with a client, if I'm in another space, I have a sacred space that I could go to visually in my mind. And that's me standing on a cliff overlooking the ocean. And there's just beautiful greenery around me. And I'm always in a white dress and just feeling the breeze and the light from my higher source. And then setting a clear intention is, what is your intention in connecting with your guide? What is your intention when it comes to healing for yourself? Or if you're like, for myself, when I'm with a client, what is my intention for them? And then for day 2, we talked about practicing loving unconditional patience with yourself when it comes to this, and learning how to relax, and different breathing techniques, how to breathe. And so on this one, we talked about how to, let go of the ego, let go of over analyzing how it should be, and just kind of like, and judgment, don't self judge. Like, why am I not connecting? Why am I not hearing the messages? Release that. And we talked about just surrendering. And then on day 3, we talked about how to call for protection, always protecting yourself, surrounding yourself with a white light, and how to produce sacred sounds, whether it be through chanting. And for like myself, like I mentioned, I'm a very quiet person. And so I actually use whatever sound is around me at the moment as my sacred sound, because everything around us has a vibration and a frequency that is working for us at the moment. So whether it be the birds, I think that day I had the birds chirping outside and I could hear the humming of my water filter next to me. And so those were the sounds that I used to tap into that frequency and that vibration. And then for day 4, it was about how to go through that door, that sacred space with your guides. We have our sacred space and they have a sacred space. How to walk through that door and go in and invite your spirit guides to join you and take that moment. And so that day, we really just spend some time just kind of like paying attention to that space. How did it look? How did it feel? What did you see and experience? And then for day 5, we talked about how to open to your frequencies and ask for signs. And so that one we talked about our senses. What do you feel? What do you smell? What do you see? What do you hear? And what do you any other senses that you might be picking up? And then yesterday we spoke about asking for a message, blessing, giving thanks, the importance of always giving thanks. You know, the it's important to show that gratitude because it gives them an affirmation that you got the message. So that's what I wanted to really emphasize, the importance of giving thanks because it's a form of affirmation for them, especially because that's their sole job. Their sole job is to guide us and protect us and make sure we're getting those messages and are on our path. So when they could hear us giving thanks and realizing, okay, now step 2, what do I need to do next? So those are what we talked about. And so today we're up to day 7. So with that, I'm just going to give a quick introduction and then our topic for today. So just a little bit about us. I'm Rebecca and my husband JB, and together we form Dual Dragons. We are holistic wellness consultants, also known as the Muscle Whisperers. Our gift is we fall under the massage umbrella, but we don't do spa massage. It is not what you think. It is not the lotion and the music and it's very intense therapy work. We do what we call trigger point therapy. And as I'm hitting those trigger points, because our muscles hold memory of every trauma or everything you've gone through. It could even be the day you tripped on the curb. It could be that simple. The day you tripped on something and oh my goodness, you kind of fell and kind of tweaked your body a bit, your energy that day. It could be as strong as an emotional trauma, something very traumatic you went through. So as we are working on these trigger points, I am getting a story of your body. I always start at the feet because that's where I read. I read through the feet and I get an overlining view of where it started and how it's affected your whole body, whether it be physical, something that physically you tripped or an injury, but with injuries also come energy blocks. So how to unblock those energy blocks. And then, like I said, muscle holds muscle memory. And so if you're holding in like even sadness, depression, someone passed away, you lost somebody, all that is held in your muscle because of what you experience. For a good explanation, someone that just found out some really horrible news. I remember I had a client that walked in because she received the worst news ever for her, and so she was really tight. She was suffocating. She couldn't breathe. She goes, I don't know what's wrong with me. I feel like all my muscles are tightening. And it's because of that moment, that traumatic moment, her muscles were engraving this emotion within the muscles. And it took me to kind of like help her process this to realize what she was doing to herself. And these are things that we can in some way control. I remember my holistic doctor once said, when you get mad, it only takes a second for it to start intoxicating your body. So imagine the moments when we get really mad and we just stay mad, what that is doing into our bodies. And so it really takes that 1 second, that moment for you to stop and say, okay, I understand why I'm mad. Thank you, body, for making me aware. Thank you for making me aware of this emotion. But what can I do with this emotion now? Should I keep it or should I release it and find another way to be able to deal with the situation? So that's a practice that takes a lot of practice. But I want everyone to become aware that these strong emotions, when it's really strong, can really do an effect on our body. And it gets stored in our body and they come out afterwards when we haven't dealt with them. That's where chronic pain comes about. That's where all of a sudden my clients would be like, I don't know what happened. I just woke up and I'm in so much pain and I don't get it. That's when that happens. That's what's happening. Okay, so that's a little bit about us. And so for today, it's about learning how to, when you go into your meditation, with you've gone with your guides, you've connected with them, and when you return, what do we do to reground ourselves? This is very important because when I wasn't experiencing this, when I was a child, I would go off with my spirit guides when they would come, or any, spiritual guide or family member, and when I wouldn't reground. And then that's when I would hear a lot my mom and my dad say to me, "Why are you always in la la land? What's wrong with you?" Because I was still in a phase most of the time, and I couldn't hear them. I was not attuned with my surroundings. So my parents always thought I was in La La Land. Get your head out of the moon, they would tell me.
We
But
recently
it,
went to a retreat where one of our guidance or our mentors put it best. Spirituality or any of this very magical stuff is only woo woo, and you get stuck in la la land, like Rebecca just stated, is when you're disconnected from either the earth or the higher self, your heaven, the higher source. You always practice, and it's a daily routine that you got to remind yourself to connect to your higher source so you could pull in wisdom as well to stay grounded and connected to the earth. When you're disconnected in one of those spots, or because of the mental, emotional blockages that you receive and hold on to throughout your life experiences, that's when you feel that exhaustion and not present.
yes. And then also learning how to live in that sacred space every day. And again, that's a practice that takes within practice. I have learned already how to stay connected, how to stay grounded, and then also still being in that sacred space. And it's, yesterday I gave a good demonstration where as I'm connecting, I wake up every morning and make sure to thank, I'm like thinking about things that I'm thankful for. And at the same time, I'm enjoying that morning with my husband. But at the same time, I'm also connecting. I actually took a shower this morning and was just using the water to kind of like cleanse myself and prepare myself. And I was using the water as a healing tool to, just release, detach anything that I have attached to, whether it be consciously or unconsciously. So the questions, what do we do to return from your sacred space? What do you do? What's the process? Do you do a countdown? Do you visualize yourself regrounding? We've had several guests tell us, make sure to imagine yourself like this picture of the tree. Your feet turn into roots, get them deep into the dirt, make them go all the way to the core of the earth. And I love this picture of this tree. I live here in Anaheim near Disneyland, and near me, Anaheim is a very old town. It was the Germans are the ones that were the first to develop Anaheim, and Anaheim is a German word, which means home by the river. And so there's a tree that is very historic here in Anaheim, and not many people know of it. And it's right next to my high school, Anaheim High School. And it looks just like this tree. It's humongous, and the roots are so big. Those roots, when you go to it, you could sit in, you could actually go within the roots and just kind of like, I like in that little space right there, I could actually just hide in there and just feel the vibration and all this history from this tree. It's a really beautiful tree. And that's my favorite place. I've gone there a couple of times throughout my lifetime. I actually took JB one time. We're like, yeah, I gotta show you this tree. It's the best tree ever. And just feel that energy, that old soul. Any places that are very historic, I love to go to. Like just recently, I went to the mission here in San Juan Capistrano, and just kind of walking through there and just realizing how many souls have walked through here. What do they go through? What lessons were learned during this time? What did we learn from this? How have we evolved? Have we learned our lessons? Is there still something to learn from this space? That's what I love to go in. I've had other friends tell me, like, don't you hate going there? All the traumatic things that happen. I'm like, if you think of it that way, you're going to be stuck in that emotion. That's being stuck in an emotion, a past emotion. I'm like, no, I go in there with eyes of wisdom of what can I learn from the people that have walked through here, whether it be traumatic, whether it be good. What can I learn from them? I don't want to bring out the negativity. I want to see the balance, because no matter what in life, there's going to be good and bad. And they work together for a purpose. Yin and yang, they work together for a purpose. I'm not going to focus just on the bad. I'm not going to learn anything from that at all. I'm going to learn from what happened bad, but the positive that came out of it. And so, what do you do to ground yourself again? Again, it could be as simple as visualizing. It can be as simply as going outside. If you happen to have a tree near you, right outside of your house, I have one right outside of my front door that I will go to and just hug to reground myself. It could be as simple as my tool that I have here, my Tibetan bowl, my root chakra. This is the one I will be playing today to reground myself. It could be as simple as just meditating and visualizing and feeling the earth underneath you. And then how do you stay connected daily to your sacred space? Again, that was day one, where you kind of visualize what is your sacred space. And like I said that day, it's very simple for me to just go there when I need to. And I've used that space, especially when it comes to dealing with any strong emotion, like I talked about. If I all of a sudden become very angry, I'll recognize my anger, and then I'll go to the sacred space for protection. And then how to use that sacred space in need, when you need to just sit in silence. Like I said, I use my sacred space as also a space of protection. you know you need to have that time.
And
So
that being said, having that sacred space is also like a garden, something you have to tend
mhm,
to, in the sense of cleaning it up. There's a moment when we were first evolving our relationship from professional to more of a personal relationship early last year, that Rebecca helped me welcome me into her sacred space. And at some point, it was starting to turn a little dirty or a little dark, which then she didn't feel like she had a place to go. Woke me up to be aware of the energy I was surrounding myself with, or not having that, not so much a barrier for protection, but more like a force field that filtered out the unnecessary, unhealthy vibration, or holding on to old vibration energy, and which then helped in my process so that I make sure my sacred space was pure as we integrate our sacred space together when we have those moments to that it was pure. And like gardening, the definition of weed is something that's out of place. So something that's not in place for your sacred space is a daily ritual, which will help you provide a much clearer and open channel for you to ground yourself, your lower self, your higher self, and obviously to allow that clear channel of communication when you receive messages.
Okay. So with that, I want to take some minutes to just really introduce our next guest speaker. She is the alchemical, wait, sorry, I'm butchering that.
It's totally fine. Alchemical.
Alchemical midwife, Anasuya Isaacs. And we call her Alleluia Anasuya. That's how we know her by.
It also is how it's an easy way to remember how to pronounce my name.
Yeah.
Hallelujah, Anasuya.
Yes. And so here's her Gmail address, number. If something that she says today resonates with you and you would like to get a hold of her or connect with her, you know, this is a way to reach her. And again, all our videos are on our Facebook page. All this information is on the events page, and it will also be under the units tab. Even if you go into it later to watch and you're like, oh, I really want to get her information, it will be there for you to be able to connect with her.
Wonderful.
Okay, perfect. So with that, I leave it to you. I'm going to stop sharing. So then that way we could enjoy.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome, Shane, Bara, and Devetta. Thank you so much, the beautiful, powerful, and amazing Dual Dragons, for hosting me. I have known them for a year or maybe longer. I'm not really sure, but what I know for sure, yeah, it has been 2. Okay, I'm not crazy, because when you said, well, whatever he said, I said, man, I think it was longer than that. But there we go. 2 years, right. I'm very grateful to be in this space with you lovely beings, and, bringing sunshine to you and receiving your sunshine. So I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for having me in your sacred temple that you've created here online. Like, this is a sacred space. This is a container that you're holding your teachings in, and you're holding your high frequency in, and you're offering it. So you've created a container or a well from which you're pouring out water. So thank you for inviting me to add a few cups from my well. So I really thank you. I thank you for all that you're doing for humanity and for the people who join you in any way, whether they're on your table, whether they're under your hands in some kind of way, or being guided through the voice. I just thank you for all that you do for humanity, and as someone who raises the frequency and alleviates suffering, because the more we alleviate suffering, the more people land and re-embody themselves to get back into their bodies, the more they are available at a higher frequency to know themselves truly and to be themselves truly. So, one thing I'll say briefly about, what does it mean, alchemical midwife? Well, alchemical is in it, alchemy. The process of alchemy is a science. And it's a science that operates on the metaphysical level. And originally, alchemy was created. Well, I don't know if it was created, discovered, or was used for those who were pursuing the fountain of youth. And that also is a metaphor, because the fountain of youth is like, how do they stay young forever? So they weren't literally trying to stay 14 or 25, but they were trying to stay alive longer. They wanted to know how to live eternally. How do they always stay forever young, forever curious, forever open, forever available? So they wanted to know how to stay really at the highest level. They were trying to understand how to be their divine self on earth, like how to be in the world but not of the world. And so they figured if they could if they could recreate and tap into that eternal space, that they would be embodying their divine self. And as a divine being, you wouldn't have the limitations of age. You wouldn't have the limitations of a body that didn't work. You wouldn't have the limitations of gravity. So certain things wouldn't be there, because you would be operating inside your God state or your God consciousness. And so you'd be free of a lot of the limitations that human beings who are not connected have. And alchemy is going through 4 stages. And what they said, we're looking to turn, how do you create gold? Because they didn't know you could mine it and it was in the earth all the time. They were using that as a metaphor. It's like gold, something that when you have it, it can't be destroyed. You can't bend it. You can change the shape, but you can't destroy it. So they were looking at how do you turn lead to gold? And how do you turn humans into God, back into their God self? So alchemy is the 4 spiritual metaphysical stages you go through the fire. It's through deep fire, through burning. So Christians know it as the refiner's fire, where or where it can get really hot in your life, and as you're confronting different issues. So that fire is there to cut away all that is not essential, all that is not needed. And usually that is the things that you've accumulated once you came to earth. Because coming to earth, you are perfect, whole, and complete. You remember your God state. You remember, even remember your soul purpose. You come here and you're like ready to go. And then life happens to you and more stuff gets stuck and another pain and trauma happens and another wall gets built and some other painful thing happens and another wall gets built. And by the time you get a certain age, you have so many walls, you don't even see the outside anymore. You don't see the sun anymore. You don't see people anymore because all you're aware of is the different pains and trauma of all the walls around you. And then you're like, well, this is as good as it gets. I'm stuck in this place. I'm trapped in my own world. And so the alchemy, that process of going through the refiner's fire is like the process of being in the crucible, being tested. And that process of being willing to like surrender all of your beliefs about yourself, your knowledge about yourself, the things you say you know, to release it into the fire and say, return me back to myself, return me back to who I am. I don't know how to do that, but I put myself in the fire of God's love, of God's will, of God's grace, and burn me and return me to me. And that's alchemical. And the midwife part is through my coaching and healing sessions with people, a midwife's job is to support the mother and bringing a new life into being. So the mother and the father did the work of conceiving it. The mother with the midwife did the job of carrying and doing the preparation work to get the baby healthy and keep the mother healthy so that the baby can come to full term within the body. And then the midwife's job is to help the baby transition from the spirit realm to the physical realm, to transition from one dimension to another safely, grant safe passage. So the midwife gets you from one state to another safely, whole, healed, and complete. And of course, can address any matter that could come up in a crisis birth. Midwives are like a doctor. They're operating as a doctor to get you here. So an alchemical midwife is someone who helps you go from one dimension to another, granting you safe passage to your transformed ascended self. So the processes that I offer are to help you to rebirth yourself into the truth of who you really are, to rebirth yourself into your memory and conscious awareness of your oneness with the divine, because we always are oneness with the divine, but not aware of it. And that lack of awareness causes the fear of flights trigger in the brain. It causes anxiety. It causes a lot of the unrest that we experience in the world is because we don't remember we're one with God. And exiles know if you're exiled from your homeland, if you're exiled from where you belong, there's automatically an anxiety, there's automatic fear, there's automatic smallness. And so when you remember who you are and your divine connection, when you remember how powerful you are and what the gifts are in your tongue to speak and declare and decree a thing, when you remember your divine powers, all those limitations start to fold away and you sit and stand in your power and you co-create your world. And that's what an alchemical midwife is supporting you and doing, because really you are rebirthing yourself. The midwife is not the one, pushing the baby out. The midwife is helping you deliver your dream, your project, your highest self. So, that's my job. Okay, did I take up my whole 10 minutes for the meditation? I don't know. I can't see a clock on my phone. On this computer. So let me how am I doing for time, Rebecca?
You're good if you want to just do a quick meditation.
Yeah,
And
so just tell me what's the new minutes for the meditation.
okay.
I'll just do less on the other side. I'll do the whole 10 because that is going to be needed. And that would have been some of the stuff I said on the other side anyway. So it's going to work out.
Perfect.
Okay. So with that in mind, let's do a meditation to ground ourselves, so to get in our bodies, because maybe we woke up startled, maybe we woke up in a rush, maybe the alarm clock shook us from one state, and we didn't really have a chance to fully bring our soul peacefully into our awareness. So we're just going to support each other in making that transition back to a balanced state. So this meditation is called the Soul Sync, and it's really syncing your meditation and your consciousness back into oneness. Okay, so sit. Let me just sit back a little bit. So straighten your back wherever you are. You can lie down or you can sit in a chair. As you can see, the three of us are sitting, but you want to sit in a way that honors yourself, that honors the sacredness of who you are. So, Shana, you're able to straighten your back and keep your spine erect. Thank you. Make sure you're comfortable because you don't want to have any agitation. So if you need to wiggle your body to make sure you get, any air pockets out of, wait, why did that make noise? That shouldn't have made noise. Okay. Then do that. Okay. So shake your body and just feel your body, your spine elongating. So you just want to create a little space between your discs. So just, raise up, and you have to shift your hips a little bit, and keep your knees hip width apart. So you don't want them squeezed together. You want to space and elongate. Okay. And then have your feet flat on the floor and your neck straight. So you don't want to scrunch your neck like this, and you don't want to scrunch over like this. Because you want to keep your airway, your oxygen flowing very easily. And you also want to keep the channel from your crown chakra to your first chakra open. So you just want to keep as much of a straight line as you can. Okay. Okay. So now please close your eyes. With this soul sync meditation, it is 6 parts. And in these 6 parts, you're going to be guided each way. So you don't have to figure anything out. You can just be still and let me guide you. So please close your eyes. And now place your thumb and your first finger together and make a circle. And leave your palms on your thighs facing upward. Every part of this meditation will use your thumb being tapped by each of your 4 remaining fingers, so that each step will be using 8 counts. And how you count off is move your thumb from your first finger to your second finger to your third finger to the 4th finger, and then switch hands and go 5th. The first, your index finger, your middle finger, your ring finger, your pinky. And that's how we'll do the 8 counts. Okay. So step 1, let us take 8 deep conscious breaths. So that is breathing in for 3 and breathing out for 6 on a count of 6. So you breathe in 3 times, 1, 2, 3, and exhale for 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do that 8 times. Keeping your back straight. Filling your lungs completely. Breathe in 3. Breathe out 6. Breathe in 3. Breathe out 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in 3, 2, 3. Breathe out 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in for 3, 2, 3. Breathe out for 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in for 3. 2, 3. Breathe out for 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in for 3. Breathe out for 6. Breathe in for 3. Breathe out for 6. Breathe in for 3. Breathe out for 6. In the next part, using the same counting of 8 on your 4 remaining fingers, or the 8 remaining fingers, we're now going to add a step. So we're going to breathe in for 3. And when we exhale, we're going to hum out loud. And hum in a way that you feel the vibration vibrating in your head, throat, and chest. And if you can vibrate in your whole body, wonderful, but make sure you feel the vibration in your head, throat, and chest. So it would be like this. Okay, let's begin. Starting at 1, breathe in. Breathe in. Make sure you change the finger each time you count on a new finger. Breathe in. Breathe in, going to the 4th finger. Breathing in and touching your 2nd index finger. Breathe in, breathing the middle finger on your 2nd hand. Make sure you're breathing deeply so you really feel that vibration. Moving to the 3rd finger on your 2nd hand. Now moving to your 5th and last finger on your right hand and breathe in and vibrate. And the 3rd step, we're going to acknowledge the pause. So that means when we breathe in and then exhale quietly through the mouth, at the end, before you take your next breath, you're going to feel a pause. There's a pause. You don't want to look for it, and you don't want to stop. You just want to notice, oh, before I take another inhale after I exhale, I pause. So you're going to notice the pause for 8 counts. If your mind wanders, bring it back. It's okay, it's normal. But notice the pause for 8 counts. And each time you count, move your thumb to touch another finger. Let's begin. Notice the pause between the exhalation and your new inhalation. Remember, just to notice it. Don't force it. Don't make a pause. Just notice it actually automatically happens. Keep breathing deeply and notice the pause. In the fourth stage, we're going to breathe in for the count of 3. And when you exhale, say aham. Aham means I am in Sanskrit. And you're just anchoring the I am, that I am, that I am conscious, the universal consciousness, the consciousness of oneness. So we're just going to inhale, and then as we exhale, we say aham. So when we inhale, we fill our lungs, and then as we exhale, we say aham. So do that for a count of 8. Let's begin. Aham. Aham. And remember, each time you do it newly, move your finger and touch your fingertips together with a new finger. Aham. 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 On the 5th stage, we breathe normally. And in this space of breathing freely, we start to allow our bodies and our minds to dissolve. Let them go. Keep breathing in the oneness with all that is. And dissolve your thoughts. Dissolve your consciousness of being in your body. Just feel the vibration of oneness that dissolves the physical world, that dissolves all limitations of what we can do and where we can go. And if we can astral travel, just get back to the space of the vibration before there was a body, before there was matter, before there were solid objects. Let's just get back to the original frequency that created the everything. Just feel everything dissolving, the weight of it, the weight of your body. Just feel it dissolving as you expand more and more into the oneness and into your remembrance of your connection to everything. Your oneness with everything matters. So let's just dissolve all those barriers. And enter into that space of oneness. Oneness. That state of oneness. And in the sixth stage, this is the time to, in your oneness with the divine, ask the divine to grant you access to your guides. Ask them to reveal who is your guide or which guide would like to come to you on this day. Knowing that you are one with them and there's no limitation, you're not separate, they feel most welcomed to come and reveal themselves to you. So ask whatever form of God that you pray to reveal your guides to them. Have them step forth at this moment. And you're going to ask them now to reveal themselves so that you may see them or hear them or both. Be curious. Bring an open beginner's mind. Bring earnestness. Bring your sincere longing, because the divine loves sincere longing. Ask because your heart truly wants to know, who is my guide? Who is here as my guardian angel? Who is here as someone as my way shower? Someone helping me to navigate this crazy world. Who is here? I'm willing to see and hear you. But more importantly, I'm willing to obey, to follow your guidance. Let my yes be heard. So you want to say that to them. May my yes to surrendering to you, to being willing to be guided by you, by willing to listen to you, I say yes. And with this sincere prayer, feel that oneness, feel that shifting in your energy. Feel the allowing of this presence that's warm around you. They are present. They ring the bell. How beautiful. So take 3 deep breaths as you move your body and just become aware that you're in your body. Straighten your back again. Shift your feet and ground back in. And then when you're ready, open your eyes. How was that? please open your mic, and this is a conversation we're going to have. So, how was that? Shane?
Yeah.
You were first. Hello, Patty. Welcome.
Yeah. Thank you. I felt that my body was relaxed. Actually, my in weekdays I'm very busy, and um, I'm short of some. I'm short, and also I'm short of my sleep, so that um, um, and now when I close my eyes and breathe deeply and vibrate my hands, um, I think that I could detach some things, but not of them, but not out of them, but detach some stress and some kind of other people with other relation that I have to concern, that I could detach something like that, so that I felt about some free. So that thank you for knowing me that kind of meditation. And yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm so glad you were able to relax your body and feel the rest that is offered you. Oh my goodness, what is going on with my computer? I'm so sorry, I don't know where it is. If I could stop it. Oh boy. So anybody like to share where I figure out how to turn that off? I'm so sorry. I was trying to get a link. I'm getting a link for you so that you can do this again if you'd like. But I'm not sure where I put it. Amazing.
It's in another tab.
Yeah, it is. Thank you. For some reason though, I cannot find this tab. So let me see. I moved it. So would anybody else like to share why I go find this tab?
I would like to, you took me to a place where I didn't expect to go.
Uh-huh.
And especially when you were telling us to connect with our guides. And I saw my main guide, and then I just saw all these people just come forward all of a sudden.
That's wonderful.
I know, it's just, and I'm crying because they brought forth the baby I had lost in August. And I got to hold him and kiss him, and it was wonderful. You got to just spend a moment with him and just see him and say thank you for being my little guide.
How absolutely beautiful. I'm so happy that this wonderful being stepped forward for you. So it's good to know that this little guy, as you call him, has chosen to stay as your guide. And who knows what role he would have played in had he taken and stayed in his body, but he clearly chose to be your guide in this way. That was his soul contract. So how powerful is that?
That was really nice.
Oh, I am so happy for you. This is like the best ever. Okay. So, would Patty or JB or Devata, if I'm saying your name correctly, would you like to share?
This is Devetta.
Hi.
Hi. So I always have trouble doing meditation, but I did like the way you said to use the fingers and the humming to count, because that was kind of helping me get rid of like the distractions I was hearing. And
Wonderful.
I did feel when I was doing the humming, I did feel the vibration through my body. And at one point I felt like it felt like a blockage in my calf, like went away. Like I felt it in my calf from the vibration. So that was really neat.
Wonderful. And were you able to see or hear a guide?
I wasn't able to, but I was able to concentrate my mind more than I usually do, just by doing the counting on the fingers and the humming.
Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. And so if anybody would like to do the soul sync meditation, again, I put the link in there. That is to my teacher who created this meditation. She's leading you on it. And it's on an app called the Breathing Room. And on that particular page, it's an app that you can pay for membership on. But the page where that meditation can be found are 9 amazing meditations that are free for anyone to use at any time. So you continue to do it, and the more you do it, the more you soul sync and sink your soul into your being, and sink you into your God consciousness. And you, every time we want to be, we can operate from our greatest power and in oneness with our guides through this meditation and through any meditation. So I know we don't have much time left, and I'm going to honor that, but I did want to say that meditation is one of the best ways to connect with your guides. Really moving your soul into alignment is the best way to connect with your guides, because your guides and you are not different. Your soul and you are not different. Your guides are not, they're not you. They are a form of you, but we have to see them as something separate so that we enter into a relationship with them. So for us to enter a relationship, we have created what the world, Eastern philosophies called duality, the state of me, not me. So this is me, that's you. So you are not me. And so we've created this duality so that we can interact. But really, in the other dimensions, there is no me and not me. There's only me and me cleverly disguised as you. And we have that consciousness as though, oh, hi, me disguised as you. How are you? How am I doing over there? And when we have that awareness that, oh, I'm over there, then we have much more compassion. You know, we learn to have much more sympathy, or really empathy. We learn to grant people space, because it's like, oh man, they really must be going through something. And we can remember that by saying, well, if that was me, how would I be feeling if I was in that situation? And the minute you're willing to shift your consciousness to, it's not over there with them, but hey, that's me, then we can reach the higher states of even people we think are our enemy, people we think are hurting us, who may have behaviors that are not in alignment with ours. Somewhere they're mirroring something for us that we need to look at. And in that way, they show you they are you cleverly disguised as them. Because whenever someone is triggering something in us, whenever someone's pushing a button, whenever someone is pissing us off, thank them. Because they're giving us a mirror into something in us that wants to be healed. And because we're not meditating, because we can't hear it, because it's a whisper, it manifests in someone else. And they do that very thing that your soul is trying to tell you that you don't hear, but you hear it in that person in front of you. And you're like, what did you just say to me? And well, guess what? That's what you're saying to you. And have the compassion to listen, like, okay, where am I repeating this? Where am I beating myself up? Where am I mistreating me? Where am I not taking me seriously? Where am I being late with myself? Where am I breaking my word to me? Because I'm mad at them for they broke their word. They promised they would do this. But where am I breaking my own word to myself? Where am I out of integrity with myself? And the minute you're able to turn whatever they're sending to you toward looking in the mirror, then you can bless that person. That doesn't mean you have to be friends with them. That doesn't even mean you have to like them. But you thank them for being that mirror for you. And if you really don't like that person, you say, I bless you and I thank you. Go in peace, you know. And inside you say, and I hope I never see you again. And if it's somebody like in your family, somebody you do need healing with, and you definitely want to pray for them and heal them, because they may not even know why they said the things to you, because your spirit used them to do it. They don't even, you know, sometimes they can feel like, oh, something just jumped to me. I don't know why I said that. And you can say, well, actually, I needed to hear that. So I guess my spirit said, I'm not listening. So it came to you to hear it. And I recognized that that was me talking to me, and you're released. You don't have to play that role anymore for me. And you can release them, because spirit talks to spirit. So they get in the cahoots with one another for our elevation. And your way of acknowledging them and blessing them is allowing their spirit to be acknowledged and say, oh, I did my job. I did that for you. That was my assignment. Oh, thank you. I'll go to the next person. So, you know, you just want to know that there is no other. And that's, that's something I worked on, and I have been working on for 4 years with, you know, the person in the White House that we have. It would be so easy for me to say, that's the enemy. That's a formation of the lowest frequency. That's a formation of harm and danger. And I have evidence and I have agreement and I have all these people saying, yeah, you're right. And we can get in a state. But I noticed that it was only making me sicker
Mhm.
because I was seeing that person is not me. And anytime we make someone an other and create that duality, we're creating pain because we're exiling them and we're exiling ourselves. And I said, well, I know from a spirit level that if I prayed for his oneness, if I pray for him to move into his God consciousness, then maybe God can get in there and say, dude, you're effing up. Come on. This is not how you treat human beings. Come on back to humanity. Where you been? But God can't get in there if I'm just constantly putting up a wall, putting up a wall, putting up a wall, putting up a wall, and saying, oh, I'm a healer, but I'm not healing this soul. Because someone who takes those behaviors that are not helpful, that are doing hurtful things, that are doing selfish things, those are hurt beings. And hurt people hurt. Hurt people hurt. Hurt people hurt people, which is why we have bullies. Bullies were bullied
Mhm.
first by a parent and or a big brother or a sister. They were bullied. So bullies bully. Hurt people hurt people. So the more I see the harm, the more I go to healing that soul, because there's a very tortured soul in that being who needs a lot of love, needs a lot of attention, and doesn't know how to get it in an appropriate way, and is fine with getting it in an inappropriate way. And we as a collective mind can heal that. So, and I just want to remind us that we have that power, and it's called oneness. When we stop seeing people as other and something different because of their language, because of their religion, because of their skin color, because they're conscious or they're not conscious, they're woke or not woke, because they're stupid or smart, whatever way we create others, stop it. Because we can't fix or heal anything that's outside of ourselves. When we see that entity inside of ourselves and go to work on healing, that part of me that can hurt people, that part of me that can be prejudiced and unkind, that part of me that can be judgmental and wicked, we all have everything in us. There's nothing in the world that exists outside of us that is not inside of us. The world we're living in is a projection of what's inside of us. So if we don't like the movie we're living in, we don't like the parts, we don't like the lines we've been given, we don't like the way the director is directing us in this movie, then we have to remember, hey, I wrote this movie. Hey, I'm directing this movie. Hey, I'm starring in this movie. So when we remember that, you can go back and, oh, let me get out of take, cut, I'm out. Start again and write a new script, write a new movie, play a new part, and get better actors in it. You don't like who's the actors in your life? You cast them. You're the casting director. Hello. Take your power back. Oneness.
Yeah.
Okay, so I probably could go on longer, and I do want to acknowledge that. Thank you for giving me a few minutes extra. I didn't know I needed it, but here we go. Spirit, that's what Spirit said to tell you, and I just always listen to Spirit.
Thank you so much for sharing. I wanted to share my visual that I got from your meditation.
Yes, please. I didn't want to skip over anybody that wanted to share, so please, 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 JB.
I found myself almost floating, kind of like levitating, and then each chakra was like a new guide was presenting itself to help process or cleanse that chakra. And there's about 9 of them. And then outside of that was like heaven and earth as the 11th, the duality or the balance of energy, kind of holding space for them to do what they got to do. Remove a lot of my wife first to as spider webs. I saw more chains and just weight the old energy or mindset or past, present, future life. It was very fascinating. Some of the faces were starting to form on these guides. So look forward to probably exploring that more.
Wonderful. And this, just like I said, if you don't see your guides as something other than you, something separate from you, something you had to, some being or entity that you have to go and find in the forest, on the mountaintop, in a sacred space, if you just realize your guides are in you, as you, then just take their deep breaths to your soul sync counting. Let's say, how can you say it? Sink in with them, sink in to yourself, and they will guide you. They've always been talking to you. Your guides are guides for a reason. They've always been saying, take a break here, turn left here, buy this thing. They've been always guiding you. You just might have thought it was your thoughts. And one of the ways you can tell it's not your ego or you're not your thoughts is your guides usually point you in a direction you weren't going in, or they're inviting you to do something you wouldn't intuitively do. And it's a stretch. And you're like, I don't know why I should go over there. I don't have anything over in that across the hall. Why do I want to go across the hall? That's some crazy thought I just had. Oh, well, wait a minute. Maybe I'm being guided. Let's check in. Guys, if that's you telling me to go across the hall, let me know. And then you tell them what your sign is. So mine is a bell. When I hear bell ring, in India, when a bell is rung as you're speaking, as someone's speaking, a bell of any kind. So usually it's a temple bell, but if it's a bell on your phone or a phone ringing or a scream or some sudden sound happens when you're speaking, in India, they say that is truth being spoken.
Mm.
And that's my way of hearing, knowing that God has come in. Was that a dog barking? What was that? Did you hear it?
I heard it, but I don't know where it came from.
That's a bell. That's God saying, yes, that's an acknowledgement from the divine. This is truth being spoken. So you can say, guides, if that's you guiding me across the hall or to do the thing you don't want to do or don't think you should do, just ask them, send me a sign. Mine is a bell or a noise that comes out of nowhere. And you can say what your sign is. Flash a butterfly in my head, or, have the phone ring, or you create your own signs so that you can communicate with them. And then but do it. Once you get that it's them, then do whatever they say because it's always right. Yes, Rebecca?
I just had a flicker in my room. I was all like, whoa.
That's spirit. Those are spirits. They'll find any way to get our attention. Usually it's sound, but it could be light. It could be through any of your five senses. You can smell something that's not cooking, but you smell fried chicken. And there's no fried chicken in your room. Spirit. Because what they're doing, they're working with what gets your attention. So for me, bells get my attention. So they come through bells. But if they came through a smell, and I'm in a hotel room right now, if I smell some food, I know that's them saying, okay, I need you to shift gears, because they're going to come in a way that gets you to pay attention. They're not going to come in a way where you say, I hear that all the time, no big deal. Because then you won't catch it. You'll miss your blessing. So they're going to come in one of the five senses that makes you say, where'd that come from? How did that happen? Oh, there they are. Those are my guides, my angels, my ancestors. I mean, anybody from the spirit realm is going to use that. So whether it's an ancestor that comes through, whether it's a guardian angel that comes through, whether it's your guides that come through, they're all going to find a way to get your attention until you train your inner ear to hear them loudly as you're hearing me right now. The more you develop it, the louder that voice will get on the inside. And then you won't need signs. Signs will just be a confirmation that you heard it. Does anybody have a question before we wrap up? Yes.
Hi, I'm Patty Mays, and I just want to say I was on Facebook because I awakened. My sounds are usually nature, so something woke me, and I said, "What is that sound?" And it's pouring rain, and oh my gosh, anything to do with nature just blows my mind. And so of course, I jumped up, and I have my robe on because it's still dark, and I. So then I signed up on Facebook because I said, oh, I can't go on there. I'm not dressed yet. And I said, of course I'm dressed. I'm in white. I'm in purity, right? Well, anyhow, I decided to hop on because the energy, there was a shift in the energy on Facebook. So I said, okay, JB, I'll get on that link you sent to me.
Oh, nice.
And so what's really cool is that when I was listening to you, I mean, I went through the whole meditation and the humming with my
Bell ring.
fingers. There it is, right there, right? Is I was listening to Rebecca's bowls. I mean, it was I mean, it was so loud. and the vibration, I could feel my whole body just going, vroom, vroom, you know, it was just this, it was like Rebecca was playing the bowls. And each time and each finger had a different tone, you know, as it was getting higher and then lower. And then the other thing was, my guide was a mountain lion, just showed up right in front, and I'm an animal guide, if you will, and this huge mountain lion showed up. And then the last thing was, when you were speaking of the energies that are outside, you know, the people who are pushing your buttons, or if you're angry or you're mad or whatever it is, suddenly, and you were talking about the man in office, and there was like thunder, and I said, oh, and I looked over and I said, oh, I hope they can hear this thunder. I mean, it was so loud. And as you were wrapping up, and I just said, right on, right on, right on. So I hear you about the guides. They're always with me, and I'm always paying attention to those little bells or things that that let me know I need to be present and say, okay, what is here for me right now? And then hand over what no longer serves me to my divine. What would
Yes.
you do? What would you have me say? And so this was beautiful. Thank you so much for this opportunity to sit in silence with the weather. And JB and Rebecca, thank you again.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you for coming. And you can go to the chat and copy the link to the Soul Sync meditation and do it 10 times a day, every day. I sometimes do the meditation 2 or 3 times a day. If I see stress and anxiety coming up, I just, and what you'll find on that same page, there are different meditations of different length. That's actually the longest one. So you'll find a meditation for 3 minutes. That's the serene mind. So when you find your mind is agitated, in an agitated state, you can take 3 minutes to calm it down. So that's the serene mind meditation. It's on that page. And there's one for building your immune system, because we're in an era when the COVIDian area, where we need to keep our immune system built up, and you can do it through meditation. There's another one I recommend called Accessing your Inner Divine, Accessing Universal Divinity. So there's 9 beautiful ones on there. And Rebecca, if you can just flash my card again, if anyone has put that on the screen, a question or talk to me about anything, my number is going to be flashed on the screen. And write it down.
We still got a few more minutes.
Oh, you do? Oh, I thought it was over at 8, so I was trying to be respectful of that.
It's 8:30. Bara, do you want to share or have a question? If you don't want
Oh,
to type in the chat box.
I can share. I thought that this experience was pretty incredible. I've kind of been, you know, well, like this whole group. So I was asked a question one day. I'm working with a coach. She asked me, have you ever thought about talking to your guides, or is that something that you do? And I was like, no, it's something that I'm interested in, but I don't understand it or how to do it. And then 2 hours later, I got the invite from you Meetup that these things are happening. And I was like, whoa, I guess I have to go to these.
fantastic.
I've been really after this, all week I've been getting more into this and asking these questions and, trying to get in touch with it myself. And the other day I was like, maybe I saw my guide. Maybe this is my guide. It's this big bird, light creature or something. And then today during your meditation, I feel like, I really felt the vibrations. And then I asked, show me my guide. And then I asked, show me my feminine guide, because that's a part of myself that is more guarded, I think, for sure. In my head, I was asking for it on my right side because I thought that that's where JB had said it was the other day. But then I looked at my notes and saw that he actually normally said it's normally on your left side.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, because that's what I was asking for it. And then I saw this like bird, like hummingbird, but I didn't really just see it. I could like feel the vibrations of it and its
Mm.
light. And it was really cool. It didn't, necessarily tell me anything in that moment, but I still feel this lightness, this kind of protection, and this like openness and this hope, which is really cool. And then I was thinking, after that, I wandered off a little bit when someone was talking, and I was like, I think my guides, might be birds. And then at that instant, out of the corner of my eye, I saw a bird flying by.
That's called divine synchronicity and also confirmation. So yes, and hummingbird birds are very powerful spirit guides. They are transformational. They can do what they're not supposed to be able to do. Fly long distances. They can fly forward and backwards like a helicopter. They can go up and down. They can go right and left in their flight patterns. Other birds can't do that. Their wings are too small really to carry them, but they do. They can go super long distances. And so, they're one of their gifts to teach us that we can do what is not expected of us, that we can do what others think is impossible. So there must be some project you're thinking of engaging in or something you were thinking of doing that you've been hesitating on. Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what Spirit just told me, that they gave you that side, that guide has come to you to let you know that you think you can't do it. You think you can't go there. You think it's too big and too hard. You're not prepared, but you are.
Thank you.
And to begin, it's in you to do it, which is why you thought of it. So as they say in the Bible, God places in you the desires of your heart. You think you're desiring it, but no, that you were born with that desire, and at the right time is activated because you have enough of your preparation. Your life has prepared you to be able to take it on now. And your hummingbird is coming to say, I'll show you how we can do the impossible.
Mhm.
Cool.
Does anybody else have a question? I didn't know we can go to 8:30. This is pretty cool.
I know. No, I wanted to share a little bit about, I heard you, Vera, about what you said, how the meetup just showed up. I just want you to know that you're not the only person this has been occurring to. When I opened this group, it was because of my guides. They said, you need to do this. And I'm not kidding. This was developed, Patty knows, because she helped me through this process at the end of September, and it took me 7 days only to open this group up. And then all of a sudden in 7 days, we had the 7-day chakra cleanse. And in those 7 days, it was like I was telling Anasuya, it was like this whole 7, 7, 7. It just keeps appearing 7, 7. And everyone has said, I don't know, something just told me to join, or, something just led me to you, or I don't know why I'm here, but I'm here for something. And so you're not the only one. So our guides are really, really becoming aware to us right now for a very important reason. And I want you guys all to take that really to heart and realize the importance of now. Like what she said, start now, be in the moment now. So that, when I heard you, I was reminded of that. Like, this is exactly why I developed this, because I knew a lot of us needed that message now.
To add on to what Rebecca said, I've been thinking about creating some kind of thing for years. Healers helping healers, some kind of community. But again, the journey is I wasn't listening, I wasn't acting. And eventually they brought me a wonderful, my soulmate, my partner, Rebecca, where she helped me through many layers. And eventually she's kind of went from her being a follower, allowing things to flow, to me helping her peel whatever layers I contribute to her. And she's been more action than myself. It's like, okay. And then even to this, there's this amazing experience. Some people, and you probably see it on TV or movies and whatnot, where one couple will come together and one's doing well or more assertive and creating, and then all of a sudden their partner just takes off. And there was a couple moments like, wait, is it supposed to be us or her? Doing some of the meditations that you've received throughout this week, clearing that space, breathing, listening to myself, just quiet and support her, just be there. And it's like, okay, the ego, healing the ego, healing my inner self, whatever verbiage you want to use as these different parts come into play, listening to my guide, and just, I know a little bit more of the technical stuff, so I'm helping her establish the Facebook groups and clean up, say, the Zoom stuff. And that's where my stronghold is. Yes, we're meant to lead, but lead in what?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you're given the opportunity, here's the message, take action. But even though you may feel like you're not ready, just do it. And then that lesson might be, yes, you have all the tools and do it yourself, or that lesson could be tap into your sources and ask for help, ask for guidance for, say, from Anastasia, Rebecca, Shane, Patty, whoever it is in your network.
Yeah.
Stepping up to the plate, doing their challenge, their message that they're not listening to or listening to. Fortunately, got to replace them. Again, each person's lesson is different, and you can't choose for them. All you can do is acknowledge your own, go from there. But it is that time. We're about to close this up. My lovely wife is gonna bring out this beautiful grounding Tibetan bowl for all of us to finally ground. Then afterwards, we'll say our farewells to the wonderful Facebook and live, and have a little private session amongst us who stay. And for those who are not yet, the link is posted in the Zoom link in the Facebook group. And please join us for a little private session to answer any or share your experience with us.
Yes. And I also did post on Facebook Live the link you put here on Asuya. I put it in there too about the meditation.
Wonderful.
Okay. So with that, I just want everyone just to take some time right now just to settle in your chair. Again, just take 3 deep belly breaths. I want you to first remind yourself of your crown chakra that's connected to your higher source. Also, those beautiful pearls around your forehead, like tentacles just connecting to all your guides. Then your beautiful third eye shooting out from the front and the back, this beautiful violet light. Your throat chakra, this beautiful blue light just circling clockwise on your throat. Your beautiful emerald green heart chakra circling clockwise on right where your heart is. Then go to your stomach area where our solar plexus, this beautiful yellow light, is circling clockwise. Your lower abdominal area, you see this beautiful orange light, that's your sacral plexus, just turning clockwise. And then now we are down to our root, right at our pelvis area, our legs, just imagine your legs, your feet just shooting now down like the tree, these roots going through the dirt, throughout the dirt, into the core. And imagine this beautiful red light, glowing light, just like beaming, pulsating, grounding you right now. Everyone take 3 deep belly breaths as you come back slowly. Become aware of your surroundings. And at the same time, become aware of the vibrations, the sounds, that even though you're present, you're still within that frequency, that vibration that connects you with your guides at all times. So you're here, you're grounded, but at the same time, they're still around you at all times. Like Anasia said, they have not left you, they're there. But just now, it's time to become more aware of them. And I really hope everyone learned something very important through the 7-day course. You received your messages, and continue this practice. Continue taking notes every day, whatever helps you remind you of what you've learned and what you can still achieve when you put your mindset to it. The impossible has become possible now. The unseen has become visible now. And so I just want to have everyone realize the importance of that. And just to share a small story before we end, the hummingbird, came again, and it reminded me of a story of a good family friend. Her husband had gone through a lot, cancer. He ended up passing away. But he told her, I will still be around, and you will know it's me when you see a hummingbird. He made the impossible possible. The day we celebrated his life and got together, and every person that stood up to speak, you would see this hummingbird flying around in that, because it was outside in a backyard, a beautiful backyard patio. And you would just see this hummingbird just flying around every time someone would say his name or speak of him. And it was this, and everyone was just like, there's the hummingbird. Look at this hummingbird. And so that, it just reminded me, the hummingbird again reminded me of making the impossible possible. So that's what I wanted to say. But again, I want to thank everyone for being present. I want to thank all my guest speakers, Anasuya, Patty, for, beginning this journey with me and just seeing me go through it. My wonderful husband. He's the best. I always tell him, like, you're the best husband in the world. And he always tells me, you're the best wife in the world. And we always giggle. And I love that about us. And, just everyone that's been present, everybody that has been present. I also want to announce before we disconnect, JB and I are starting today and every Saturday evening. If anyone needs any kind of consultation or healing, we will be on every Saturday night. I will post the Zoom link on Meetup and also on Facebook. For 1 hour, we're going to go on Zoom. Today, I'm going to use the bowls if anyone joins in to just do some, healing session with the bowls. If you have any questions of anything in particular coming up, I've been getting this constant pain. I don't know what it is. Join in that consultation. Again, I will be posting up the link on Meetup and also on Facebook. And this will be every Saturday night. And, so don't feel like this is the end of this course and you're not going to hear from me. I want everyone to connect with me because, like I said, I've noticed in this new course, a new wave of people discovering their gifts, wanting to learn more. What is this? And with really, what you need to do first is heal within you first, connect with you first. I will gladly help you with that. And then from there, you will know what to do.
Or the community, the healer roundtable, all these wonderful healers I gathered to join. And we'll be working on figuring out to kind of announce each individual one of them so that you have a better idea of what they do, how they do it, and if they're the tool or mentor for you. So
Mhm.
we ended on Facebook. Thank you for all who have joined us. We're ending the live. So remember to stay healthy and breathe intentionally. Recordings in the unit section and just go from there.
Mm.